Life is filled with choices that seem simple, even insignificant, yet behind them lies a mirror reflecting the deepest struggles of the human soul. For the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, existence itself is a battlefield of desires, illusions, and inner contradictions. He believed that within every heart lives a silent war between what we want, what we fear, and what we cannot control. And now, before you stand 3 circles. At first glance, they appear as nothing more than shapes, but in truth they are symbols, silent gateways into your unconscious mind. Each one carries a message, a hidden reflection of the conflicts that stir within you, the tensions between will and reality, between longing and resignation. Which circle calls to you? Which one stirs something within you that logic cannot explain? That choice is not random. It is your unconscious revealing the nature of your inner battles, the struggles you may carry in silence, and the contradictions that shape your path. Schopenhauer taught that our lives are guided not by peace, but by conflict, the restless will that pushes us forward, and the inevitable resistance that reminds us of our limitations. By choosing a circle, you are stepping into this timeless truth. Your selection will not simply expose who you are, but will reveal the conflicts that define you, the shadows you wrestle with, and the desires you cannot easily silence. So take a deep breath, look carefully at the circles before you, and let your instinct, not your reason, decide. For the circle you choose is more than a preference. It is a confession, a glimpse into the hidden battlefield of your own soul. Circle 1. The waves. If you chose the circle of waves, you have revealed one of the most defining struggles of the human condition. The very tension that Schopenhauer himself saw as the essence of life, the ceaseless movement between desire and frustration. The waves are in constant motion, never still, never satisfied, always reaching for the shore only to retreat again. And so too is the restless will within you, forever longing, forever striving, never at peace. Schopenhauer argued that at the core of every person lies the will to live, an insatiable force that pushes us to seek, to desire, to crave. Yet he also taught that the moment desire is fulfilled, it dissolves into emptiness, and a new longing immediately takes its place. This is the cycle of the waves, advancing, retreating, surging again, endlessly repeating. By choosing the waves, you unconsciously admit that within you lies this very rhythm, a restless energy that pushes you forward but never allows you to rest. This reveals a deep inner conflict, the part of you that wants, yearns, and hungers, and the part that feels weary of that hunger. You may experience moments of joy when the wave crests high, moments where it feels like your desire is finally within reach. Yet just as quickly, that satisfaction fades, and the tide pulls you back into longing once more. For Schopenhauer, this was the tragic pattern of existence itself, to be condemned to desire without end, to chase illusions of fulfillment that vanish the instant they are grasped. Choosing this circle suggests that you are acutely aware of this cycle in your own life. Perhaps you are often driven by goals, ambitions, or passions, yet when you achieve them, you find that the fulfillment is fleeting. What once felt essential becomes ordinary, and the restless wave within you turns toward the horizon again. This inner conflict between desire and disappointment is not a flaw, but a profound recognition of the human condition. You may carry within you a sensitivity to the futility of endless striving, yet at the same time, you cannot silence the wave. It is who you are, to move, to reach, to long, even knowing that peace is never permanent. The waves also speak to the duality of strength and fragility. On the surface, waves appear powerful, crashing upon the shore with force, yet they are also ephemeral, always retreating, never lasting in their form. This reflects another conflict within you, the tension between moments of strength and moments of vulnerability. You may sometimes feel unstoppable, only to discover just as quickly the fleeting nature of that strength. Schopenhauer would argue that this tension is not weakness, but truth, that all human power is temporary, that the will itself is both magnificent and tragic in its endless repetition. At a deeper level, this choice reveals an unconscious longing for release, not from desire itself, but from the exhaustion it brings. Schopenhauer believed that true peace comes only when the will is silenced, when we stop striving and surrender to stillness. Yet such moments are rare and difficult. The fact that you chose the waves suggests that you are caught in this struggle. You crave stillness, yet the motion of your will refuses to let you rest. You are both the storm and the seeker of calm. Relationships, too, may reflect this inner rhythm. You may feel a strong pull toward connection, toward intimacy, yet once you have it, the wave within you whispers that it is not enough, that there must be something more. This can create a conflict between your longing for closeness and your fear of dissatisfaction. Schopenhauer would call this the tragedy of love, the endless cycle of desire, fulfillment and disillusionment, repeating like waves that can never stop their dance with the shore. Yet within this conflict lies a hidden gift. To recognize the pattern of the waves is to see life with clarity. Most people remain blind to the endless striving of the will. They chase desire after desire without realizing the futility of their chase. You, however, by being drawn to the waves, have revealed a deeper awareness, a consciousness that sees beyond the surface. This awareness may at times feel heavy, even painful, but it also grants you insight that others may never reach. Perhaps deep within, you long for what Schopenhauer called the suspension of the will, those rare moments when desire ceases, when the mind is lifted beyond striving, often through art, beauty, or contemplation. The waves, with all their ceaseless movement, may also remind you of the yearning to step out of the rhythm, to find a space of stillness where the endless cycle of desire can finally be silenced. And yet the wave is who you are. You cannot entirely silence it, nor should you wish to, for in its endless motion lies not only suffering, but also vitality. The wave may never rest, but it also never dies. It carries within it both the tragedy and the beauty of being alive. So in choosing the waves, you have confessed the conflict of your own existence, the restless will that drives you forward, and the weary soul that longs for stillness. This is the eternal rhythm of life as Schopenhauer saw it, and it is the rhythm you carry within you, whether you embrace it or resist it. Circle 2, the sphere. If you chose the metallic sphere, you have revealed a very different dimension of inner conflict, one that Schopenhauer himself would recognize as the tension between appearance and reality, between the will's longing for permanence and the truth of impermanence. The sphere, smooth and perfect, suggests a longing for control, for symmetry, for stability in a world that refuses to provide it. At first glance, it symbolizes harmony, but in truth, it reflects the silent war within you, the desire to be whole in a fractured world, the yearning for order in the midst of chaos. Schopenhauer taught that life is not peaceful, but driven by the blind will, irrational, restless, always desiring and never satisfied. Yet the sphere stands as an image of denial, a refusal to accept this restlessness. By choosing it, you unconsciously reveal a desire to escape the ceaseless motion of life and to exist instead in a state of completion, unshaken by storms, untouched by chaos. This reveals a conflict at your core, the struggle between your craving for perfection and your knowledge that perfection does not exist. The sphere embodies an ideal, flawless, unbreakable, self-contained, and yet in reality, you know that nothing in life holds such permanence. Relationships shift, ambitions fade, the body ages, and all things fall to time. To choose the sphere, then, is to expose a hidden contradiction. You long for stability, yet you live in a world where stability cannot last. This tension may manifest in your own life as a constant pursuit of control, seeking to organize, to plan, to master your surroundings, only to find that reality resists your efforts. For every moment of order you create, chaos eventually intrudes. This conflict is not trivial, it is existential. Schopenhauer would argue that you feel more intensely than others the pain of this contradiction. You may be someone who strives to present a calm, composed surface to the world, like the sphere, polished and unmarked, while beneath, your soul wrestles with anxiety, frustration, or dissatisfaction. The inner war lies between the mask you wear and the reality you feel, between the perfection you seek and the imperfection you endure. Choosing the sphere also suggests that you may carry within you a fear of vulnerability. The sphere is complete, with no cracks, no entry points, no weaknesses. To identify with it reveals an unconscious desire to protect yourself, to remain untouchable, to keep others from seeing the fragile truths hidden within. And yet, this very desire creates conflict. For while the sphere protects, it also isolates. In hiding your imperfections, you may sometimes feel alone, unseen or misunderstood. The very armor that shields you may also keep you from the intimacy you crave. Schopenhauer would say that this is the human paradox, to desire connection, but fear exposure, to long for perfection but be condemned to imperfection. The will within you pushes you toward others, toward goals, toward achievements, yet your instinct to protect yourself pulls you back, enclosing you within your own armor. The sphere, then, is not simply a symbol of strength, but of the silent struggle between your desire for harmony and the inevitability of discord. On a deeper level, the sphere represents the illusion of control. Schopenhauer believed that our sense of mastery over life is only a facade, that beneath our plans and ambitions lies the blind will, driving us without reason, leading us into suffering. The fact that you chose the sphere reveals your unconscious. Attempt to resist this truth. You may often feel that if only you could manage every detail, anticipate every outcome, you could silence the chaos. But deep within, you know that life cannot be tamed, and this knowledge becomes a source of conflict, a wound that perfection cannot heal. Your relationships may reflect this struggle as well. Perhaps you strive to be the dependable one, the stable force, the person who never falters. You may hold yourself to impossibly high standards, believing that only by appearing flawless can you be worthy of love or respect. Yet this very pursuit leaves you exhausted and sometimes unfulfilled. For Schopenhauer, this exhaustion is the inevitable result of the will, the endless striving for what can never truly be attained. And yet, there is beauty in this conflict. To choose the sphere is to reveal not only your longing for perfection, but also your awareness of imperfection. That awareness gives you depth. It means that even as you strive for control, you know the truth, that life resists control, that perfection is an illusion, that peace is fleeting. This knowledge, though painful, grants you a perspective others may never reach. It allows you to see through appearances, to question the illusions of stability, and to understand the fragility of all things. The sphere is thus both your strength and your burden. It gives you the drive to create order, to present composure, to pursue excellence. But it also binds you in conflict, forcing you to wrestle with the gap between your ideals and your reality. Schopenhauer would argue that the only escape lies not in achieving perfection, but in recognizing the impossibility of perfection and embracing instead the fleeting moments of beauty that exist within imperfection. By choosing the sphere, you reveal a soul that longs for peace in a world of storms, a heart that desires completion in a life that is never complete. You are the guardian of harmony, even as you fight an endless battle against the chaos that surrounds you. This is your conflict, the struggle between the flawless surface you wish to embody and the restless truth that lives within. And though it may never be resolved, it is precisely this struggle that defines the depth of who you are. Circle 3. The clouds. If you chose the circle of clouds, you have revealed one of the most enigmatic and profound conflicts of human existence. The tension between presence and absence, between being seen and disappearing, between the longing for form and the freedom of formlessness. The clouds drift, dissolve, reappear, always there, yet never fixed, always visible, yet untouchable. In choosing them, you have confessed to carrying within you this same contradiction, a soul caught between the desire to belong and the urge to escape, between the weight of reality and the seduction of disappearance. For Schopenhauer, the world was shaped by the blind, restless will, driving us forward, binding us to suffering. Yet he also believed that some individuals experience a deeper conflict, the awareness that life itself is an illusion, that all forms dissolve, that permanence is impossible. The clouds embody this truth. They are beautiful precisely because they are fleeting. They inspire awe because they vanish. By choosing the clouds, you reveal that part of you already knows this. You understand, consciously or not, that nothing can be held forever, that all things, no matter how dear, eventually fade. This awareness creates a profound conflict within you. On one hand, you may crave stability, connection, and meaning, the desire to hold on to something, to ground yourself in permanence. Yet on the other hand, a voice inside whispers that permanence is an illusion, that nothing lasts, and that the attempt to cling only creates suffering. Like the clouds, you drift between these states, sometimes longing to attach, other times longing to dissolve, never fully at peace with either. Choosing the clouds may also reveal an unconscious tendency to hide, to withdraw, to disappear into ambiguity when the weight of life becomes too heavy. Just as clouds veil the sky, you may sometimes veil yourself, avoiding confrontation, retreating into solitude, or masking your true feelings. This does not mean weakness, but rather a deep sensitivity, the recognition that exposure can wound, and that sometimes protection is found not in strength, but in absence. Yet this creates its own struggle. The more you withdraw, the more you risk feeling invisible, unseen, forgotten. You long to be understood, yet you fear the pain of being fully known. Schopenhauer would argue that this conflict reflects the essence of existence. The will pushes us to connect, to desire, to pursue, but the truth of impermanence pushes us away, reminding us that all things vanish. You live in this tension daily, pulled toward life, yet haunted by the awareness of its fragility. The clouds are your confession of this inner paradox: to want and not want, to stay and to drift, to appear and to fade. At a deeper level, the clouds symbolize the conflict between illusion and truth. They take shapes, but never hold them. They inspire imagination, but never consistency. In your own life, this may reflect a conflict between the roles you play, the images you create for others, and the truth you feel inside. Perhaps you shift between versions of yourself, adapting like clouds to the circumstances around you, yet never feeling fully anchored in one identity. This fluidity can be a strength, but it also creates uncertainty, leaving you wondering who you truly are beneath the forms you take. Your relationships may mirror this conflict. You may feel the deep desire to merge with another, to form bonds that last, yet a part of you resists, fearing the inevitable fading, the eventual loss. This tension can leave you caught between intimacy and distance, connection and retreat, longing, and avoidance. Schopenhauer would call this the tragedy of the will, to crave what you also fear, to desire what you know cannot last. And yet, there is a unique beauty in this conflict. The fact that you chose the clouds reveals a rare sensitivity to impermanence, a soul that sees not only the surface of life but its fleeting nature. While others may chase permanence blindly, you recognize its impossibility, and in that recognition lies wisdom. You know that life is not about clinging to what fades, but about embracing the beauty of the moment while it lasts. This awareness, though painful, is also liberating, for it allows you to find freedom in letting go, to see beauty even in endings, to appreciate what is because you know it will not be forever. Schopenhauer believed that the only true escape from suffering lies in transcending the will, in moments of art, beauty, or contemplation, where the restless striving ceases, and we simply exist. The clouds, then, may reflect your unconscious yearning for such transcendence. Their drifting nature speaks to a longing within you to rise above the heaviness of life, to dissolve into something greater, to become free of the endless cycle of desire and disappointment. But here lies your conflict. While you long to transcend, you are still bound by the will. The clouds may inspire you, but you are still a human being, anchored to longing, to desire, to fear. You may drift in and out of clarity, at times feeling free, at times pulled back into the storm. This is the essence of your struggle. To live between the sky and the earth, between freedom and bondage, between form and formlessness. To choose the clouds is to reveal not only your sensitivity to impermanence, but also your silent strength. For to live with this awareness, to carry the knowledge that all things fade, and still to move forward, still to love, still to seek meaning. That is courage. You may drift, you may vanish, but you always return, reshaping yourself, finding new forms, just as the clouds do. And in this endless transformation lies not only conflict, but resilience. Thus your choice reveals the paradox of your soul. You are both here and not here, both longing and letting go, both visible and dissolving. You are the cloud, fragile, fleeting, and yet eternal in your capacity to return, to change, to reflect. The light in countless forms. This is your conflict, and it is also your beauty. And now, we arrive at the end of this journey through the clouds, the waves, the spheres, through the reflections of your own inner self. What you have just experienced is not simply a game, nor a random choice. It is a mirror, a quiet whisper from your unconscious, a dialogue between your soul and the symbols it was drawn to. The circle you chose was more than an image. It was a confession, revealing your desires, your fears, your conflicts, and the truths you often keep hidden, even from yourself. Schopenhauer believed that within each of us lives a constant struggle, the will that pushes us forward, and the awareness that pulls us back, the desire to cling, and the inevitability of loss. In your choice, this struggle became visible. Maybe you recognized yourself in the waves, restless and insatiable, always chasing the next horizon. Maybe you found yourself in the sphere, polished and whole on the outside, yet carrying the weight of imperfection beneath the surface. Or perhaps you saw yourself in the clouds, drifting between form and formlessness, longing to stay yet knowing you will dissolve. Whatever your choice, you revealed not only a symbol, but a truth about who you are. And this is why I invite you to pause for a moment and reflect. What did your choice awaken in you? What feelings rose as you listened? Did you see yourself clearly, or did it challenge the image you hold of who you are? These reflections are not meant to provide easy answers, but to spark deeper questions, to open doors that only you can step through. If this journey touched you, if it resonated with the hidden part of your soul, then I invite you to continue walking with us. Subscribe to this channel, because here we do not settle for the surface. We dive into the depths. Every new video is another mirror, another chance to uncover the secrets of your mind, your desires, your conflicts, your essence. By subscribing, you are not just following a channel, you are committing to a path of self-discovery, a path of reflection that Schopenhauer himself would admire. And I want to hear from you. Write in the comments. Which circle did you choose? Did it reveal something you already knew deep inside, or did it surprise you? Share your experience, because by speaking it aloud, you give form to what was once hidden, and in doing so, you inspire others who are walking this same path. Every comment creates a dialogue, a community of souls exploring themselves through symbols, philosophy, and reflection. And if this video gave you something valuable, a moment of insight, a spark of recognition, or even just the courage to look inward, then leave a like. It may seem like a small gesture, but it tells me that this journey matters to you, that it resonated, that it awakened something within. And in return, it helps this message reach others, people who are searching for the same answers, the same truths, the same reflections. So as you carry these images with you, the waves, the sphere, the clouds, remember that they are not just shapes. They are metaphors of your own existence. They are windows into your soul. Let them guide you, challenge you, remind you of the conflicts that define you and the beauty that lies within those conflicts. Because to live with awareness of your contradictions is not weakness, it is strength. To face your inner truth is not despair, it is freedom. Subscribe, comment, like, not only to support this channel, but to support your own journey of discovery. Because every step you take into yourself brings you closer to the most important truth of all, that within your struggles, your longings, your imperfections, lies the very essence of who you are. And that is where your deepest power begins.